Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's course I would like to introduce how to do the data analyze for our data set. Okay, so let us review the data set for today's course. Our data set, so first you have to connect. When you re-log in to the server, you have to connect your data again. Since the web server, it lists only at the most 12 hours for your source code. So you have to reload everything before you do the job to date. Okay, so let us go back to the prefix process. We have to. So today I would like to talk about the linear regression. Regression analyzed. So what is the topic where in fact somebody will buy your product? Okay, so first we have to so we have to import the required package, this one. So everything will fine. And also we have to load our data, which is the data set. Okay, it's ready now. Also we have to take a look at the first 5 lines for the observations. So how many observations? It's more than 9,000 observations and with 24 variables. So before do this, let me introduce it again. Head is to show the top observations. If you specify the n with a special number, so it means show me the first 10 observations for the data set. What does description mean? Describe. It will calculate the mean, the standard deviation for the continued variables, which is we call 数值型的变数. Continued variables. It will to calculate the mean, the average for the observations. Okay, so what else? What is this one? Column. Column, it means column names, the variable names for each column. Also, you can make a list for your column names. Okay, so what is the topic? The most important factor we are going to consider. We are going to talk about response, right? Did the customer renew their auto insurance? Okay, so D type is the data type for each variables. So here you may see floating point. It means is a continued variables. So what about this one? It's integer. Integer. Here is integers. What about object? Object, it means category. 名目型的变数 category variable. So how many data type for these variables? 1 for real number. Continued variables. This one is continued variables also. And with these 5 variables, they are all continued variables. Okay, so the first thing is we have to convert the yes or no statement to 1 and 0 for us to sum the numbers for the response. So we use this formula, apply. Lambda, we use this if statements. If the response is no, it will be 0. If x is not 0, it will be 1. We have talked about last week. So we do this one. And also we generate a new variables which we call engaged. Okay, here you can see the first 6 lines observations. Okay, so here at the end for this variable we just created. So this engage is depend on the condition for response, right? If the response is no, the engage should be 0. Okay, so let me show these two variables, response with engaged. So here shows the two variables for response and engaged. So you can see the computer can do the right things. 0 for no, 1 for yes, for sure. Also we can show the tail, the last 5 observations for the data set. The last 5 observations is the last one. So you may see here, engaged. Okay, so last week we showed how to draw the diagram for visualizations. Since with these numerical numbers, it's hard to see and hard to figure out what is the pictures for your variables. So we have to do some visualization, 视觉化. The first diagram we are using are histogram. In Chinese, we call 直方图. So for the histogram diagram is only for one variable. So we have to draw and compute the histogram for each one variables. Okay, so here you may see this one, PLT. It means plot. Did I mention PLT before? PLT, it means the module we have imported here. This module we call mathematic plot library to help you to do the visualization for your dataset. Because this dataset, because this package, this module, the name is too long, so we use PLT for short. Just for PLT, it stands for this library, this package. It's okay? Okay, so let's go back to the histogram. How to draw the histogram for one variable. Okay, let me show again the variables, each variable for your guys. The variable, so it's df, col columns. Okay, so there are all the variables named for our columns. So right now, I would like to draw the total claim amount, 理赔的金额. The total claim amount is here. It's these variables. So don't forget the quarter. It presents the variables So I would like to draw the histogram for the variable total current. What is the distribution for the total current? If there are an age for your customers, you may show the histogram for your customer age. Okay, so we got this diagram for total current. So from this diagram, the peak, the 峰值, the peak is here. It's almost $300 for the total current amount for each time. 当你汽车出险的时候, so the average maybe around $300. So what is the maximum? Almost $3,000 for the total current amount. 出险的金额. Okay, so you may replace the variable total current amount with income, right? So you may see the income for the income distribution for your customers. Okay, so I can remember our homework is to compute and draw histogram for numerical variables. Do you know how to figure out what is the variable are numerical variables? Don't forget. Use the DF, D types, right? Okay, so for the homework 1, if you go, I'm asking to draw the histogram for each variables, numerical variables. You may find this one: customer lifetime value, income. We have did before. What else? Monthly premium auto, months since last current, months since this one. Okay, so you may draw all the diagrams for numerical variables to draw the histogram. Okay, so you guys know the figure for each variables. So for today's, we like to find out what is the major factor will affect the response. Especially, we rename to engaged. Response and engaged are the same. It's the same, right? Okay, so we have to take a break. So you have to pick up all the process. Okay, so later we are going to do the data analyze process.